I had the wonderful opportunity to spend all of Saturday. Oh, volume, please. Really? Oh, it should be okay now, right? I'm assuming it's using the correct microphone. Better now. Okay. So all of Saturday I spent at the regional Science Olympiad tournament. Hundreds and hundreds of kids doing dozens of different science projects. Some of them known projects, some of them unknown projects. My son and my daughter made it to the team, which is really good. My son got 2 medals for each of his 2 events. My daughter got 1, and our team out of 13 teams took first place. Yes! So they're on their way to the state championships. Yeah. No, it's not an invention. So, for example, um, each of my kids had 2 different building projects. One was you build the longest bridge you can out of a certain amount of straws and a certain amount of tape, and it has to hold 110 grams, and that's it. And you have a half an hour to build, right? 50 straws, 1 meter of tape, 30 minutes, and it has to hold 110 grams. Go. By the way, it's way harder than you think. Okay, right? And then my daughter, 20 straws, a meter of tape, and you have to wrap it around an egg and drop it from 2 meters, and the egg can't break. You know what? It's tougher than you think. I'm telling you. So, anyways, it was great. Anyways, and then I spent some time with a friend on his birthday and all that kind of stuff. It was good. Got some friend stuff going. Had some family stuff going. That's a good weekend, right? Did some yard work. That always feels good. Got on my tractor, mowed the lawn. It's 2 acres. You need a tractor. It's great, right? That was a pretty good weekend, I think. Wicked smart kids. Yeah, I think so. So, anyways, yeah. Oh, and some swing trading. We did the swing trading class. Here's one of the trades. Woo-hoo. So that's good. Yeah, that's a good weekend. I hope you had a wonderful weekend as well. Lots going on. So, hey, let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Let me get that up there. Your performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. But please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money you cannot afford to lose. My name is Wayne McDonald. I am the Chief FX Market Strategist for TradersWay.com. Thank you for being a client. If you're not a client, why don't you swing on by? Only because I've asked you, out of respect and loyalty for these webinars I do for you. Would you go to TradersWay.com? Open up a demo. I swear to you, it'll take less than 1 minute. And then you download MT4. You can try the variable spread. You can try an ECN. You can try a fixed spread for scalping. Whatever you want. It's your way, the Trader's Way with Trader Wayne. Okay, we do these sessions 7:30 in the morning, Monday through Thursday. Sweet. I hope you were at FX Street last Friday for non-farm payrolls. That was a goodie. And I'm here to make you a success. That's it. I am charged with your success. And I'm fired up. I'm fired up. So let's try to play the happy song and then move on.com. Hey, 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 hey. By the way, I was probably really yelling there. I apologize. It's just this head. It's so good I can't hear myself talk. It's crazy. I'm probably yelling. So when I think I'm yelling, I'm probably screaming. So I got to be careful. Anyways, it's such a weird thing. I thought this headset would be great. It's an aviation headset for flying airplanes. I'm like, yeah, that's got to be good. It's all metal and stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's what I want. But it's so quiet, I can't hear you. What brand? I don't know. Let me look. I don't know. I can't tell. Anyways, it's like if you're flying a helicopter, yeah, it's great. If you're flying in, right, a Cessna, great. Webinar thing, it's very difficult. It's funny how much you need to hear yourself talk. So, anyways, let's stop babbling. Let's move on.com. What you see here is a swing trade placed Sunday morning at market open, long off the weekly. This is a working order, which I can cancel now. Well, I guess I could leave it there. And here's the stop below the lowest low. Don't need that anymore. Okay. So you can see plan A, roll reversal off the yellow area. What used to be resistance is now support. Weekly central pivot. The idea is take it long, and really the target should be about here. I would say precisely here. Okay. That's the target. Or if it dropped down here, I put the other half of the trade. So I split my trade in half. This is a live trade. This is a working order. So I split my one lot into a half a lot here and a half a lot here. And sort of kept that powder dry there. And off we go. So I'm long at 39 some change. I'm going 41 and some change. It's only 200 pips. And, on pound yen, that's that's not even a chunk of corn. Yeah, I'll do that, Brendan. I got busy last night. Yeah, I got interesting things going on. I'm struggling to keep up, bro. But it's recorded. I downloaded it. I'll get it up there. You right? You guys are important. I mean, I'll do my best to get that up there. Yeah. So anyway, so that's that. And I guess what I could do here is I can move the stop and take some risk off. I can move it here, right? As long as it's above 50. And so if I'm long at 60, 40 is zero. So I'm up 50 pips, right? It's time to move, take some risk off the table, don't you think? So I'm risking what, about 25 pips, and I'm up 50, so there's about 75 on the spread. So, right, cool, right? Nice, nice. I'm not even saying that's a good trade, only because the pound might not be the best thing to be on, but it presented itself as an opportunity, right? Right? Imagine this is a 1, 2, 3 almost, and then a higher high, higher low. Could create a higher high, higher low breakout scenario, right? I could see being up here fairly easy. If you got two weeks, right? Imagine this week. Let's say you stay in this trade all week, and uh, like the FOMC doesn't knock you out, doesn't like the BOJ and the BOE, right? Isn't it BOJ, BOE, and FOMC? Aren't they all meeting this week? I mean, I guess we should go through the calendar, right? But aren't they all meeting this week? What if you went through all of that and your pound yen is still alive? Should you take 100 pips on it? Or should you go for 500? Or should you go for 1,000? Now, I believe over the summer things will cool down and all that kind of stuff. So you don't want to be in it forever. But it seems to me if you could survive all that, why would you get out quick? Because you already did the tough work, right? You see what I mean? So that's my thought. So you might want to just move it to break even or closer to break even, or do whatever you want to do to mitigate the risk that you recognize. And then what? How much should you get paid for this? Like, shoot, man, it'd be great to hold this for a couple of weeks, right? Right? So I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. I'm almost thinking like there's no money here. It's invisible to me. And once you can get it to move it to break even, and I could probably do that, but I think what I want to do is wait for the higher high and then move it to break even. And then just pretend it doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Just it doesn't exist anymore. And if it came down and knocked me out of break even, I'd say, what? Like, you don't even notice, right? You're just like, hey, that trade broke it broke got hit broke break even. You're like, what trade? That pound yen. What pound yen? It didn't make any money, but it didn't lose any money. What trade? I don't remember a trade, right? And you just wipe it from your memory. But what if you came back in 2 weeks? You're like, hey, you made 700 pips on that trade. Really? 700 pips, right? And all of a sudden, like, it's meaningful, isn't it? Could you say that we are still ranging? Yes, because you're below here, right? But you busted through this. So there, like I'm saying, there's potential. What if it comes up here, hits 140.50, so it goes up another 40 pips and drops? I don't care. I just don't care. You could say, well, Wayne, you could have made 100 pips on that pound yen. I'd say, so what? I don't care. It's a swing trade. I'd be embarrassed to get 100 pips. Right? By definition, I'd say a bare minimum, especially on Beast, bare minimum would be 150 pips, and that would be disappointing. I'm kind of going for more like 200. And if I can stay in it more than a week, I want to see 300 pips, right? I'd be embarrassed to get knocked out 50 or 100 pips. Like, really? Ugh, yuck. You get it? Because then it's not a swing. And then I'm doing it because I'm scared. Oh, I got to lock in that 50 pips. You're like, really? Puny, right? Wouldn't you feel puny like you're taking 50 pips on a swing trade? Ugh. Ah. No, look, if it was a day trade, if it was a spot trade, if it was a scalp, then it's all good. But on a swing trade, I can't look at myself in the mirror and say, look, I'm a swing trader, but I took 60 pips on a trade. How embarrassing. Like, ugh. Ugh. I'd rather have zero than 50. Gee whiz. Because I'm going for 300. I got other trades that can pick up 50, but to waste a beautifully entered swing trade on a 50 or 100 pip profit, right? You get the point? It's a swing trade. Carry out your plan, soldier. I have a very bad feeling about this one, Sarge. So, whatever. Beep, beep. La la la. Let's clear this one up. Here's the interesting thing. Beast going up, euro yen going down, right? Pound yen going up, pound yen going up, euro yen coming down. Ooh. One of these is right, one of these is wrong. But they're not, you're not, you should have congruency here. Most of the time, pound yen goes up and euro yen goes up. Okay? So we're either witnessing euro weakness or we're witnessing pound strength. But we don't know what's going on with the yen based on this information. And it makes me scared because I don't really know which one. Now, look at our trade plan from last week. Okay? kick off the yellow zone, right? Should hit the red zone, and it should stop, right? Remember, this is the monthly target. This is the weekly target. So let me put a line there. There's the weekly target. Okay. Let's move the monthly target over as referenced by the yellow line. Come on, come on. Okay. Those are the two targets. So you would expect this to come down a little bit, wouldn't you? And what is it? Well, it's profit taking on previous euro strength. And the pound never hit targets like that last week, so you didn't get that kind of profit taking, right? Okay. It's interesting, right? So yes. So Danny says so back down to the weekly central. Yes. Don't forget to use like other theories as well. It's not all pivot theory, but let's say down to the 55 would predict a double top, and then down to the central, right? And then a lower high, lower low, because at that point the M3 M1 move might be happening, right? So let's draw it. How about this price action? 55 predicts double top or lower high. I'm going to do it M3 like this. It's the same thing to me. And then down to here. And then there's going to be a freak out. Let's look at psych levels. Ooh, it is a psych level. All the way up to 2250. It's just based on spiders' senses tingling or something. And then we have a full collapse. And I'm going to say we blow right through that. And then we're going to come back and hit it again. I'm going to squeeze it a little higher. Oops. Just because I can. Why? Because I can. And then end the week down here. That could happen. I'm not saying it will, but if the Bears maintain control all week, okay? If the Bears maintained control all week, that is like it's not even a best guess. It's like if the Bears maintained control all week and we pay attention to moving averages and we pay attention to pivot points and we pay attention to psych levels and we pay attention to price action, all of that makes sense but may not happen. That sounds like confidence, right? That's totally confidence. Right there, man. But it's something, right? That's what all of that acknowledges. Down to the 55, lower high, down into moving average, respect, 618 of this move into the midpoint psych level, then a full collapse of bullishness. Bears totally take over, down to the S1 in a roll reversal area, back up through a pivot, maintaining this midpoint psych level, down into hardcore support, which the whole thing just comes to a grinding halt. And that would probably put us in a range between 120 and 123. Okay, maybe. Now, you could carry this out the other way, though. What if you're a bull? All right. Or this is a 1 hour chart, right? So, what could happen today, guys, if you're day trading? Long into right? Long at New York Open, short at London close, right? There's your day. Up and then back down. That's your day. This is where amateurs get frustrated. They're like, what? I don't know what's going on. What? Why is it up for a while? Why is it down for a while? Right? Now the funny thing is on the smaller time frame, what I would say is off the 55, down into here for a double bottom, then the higher high to the 55, then what? Then a significant pullback, right? Then a hesitation around 10 o'clock in the morning, and then a big move up, right? And probably a down, and then lower high, lower low, and then down. Okay, that's what a 15-minute chart would probably look like. And then the bigger, these ones are just what it would look like on an hourly. Okay, remember this 200 EMA? Watch it. You ready? Watch it. Ready? Watch it. Ready? Boom! It's a 55. What? Boom! So this is neutral, right? And this says double top drop. Boom! Yeah. But that's why it works. That's why the stuff works. It's not magic. There's logic and intelligence behind these settings. Yeah. Ah. Right. So that's that. And by the way, I want to remind you the complication of all of this is the beast says up. So you should still reserve opportunity for bullishness. Because I'd hate to be doing this if pound yen is going up. So you could like say that's that. That's what a bear would do. Where would the bulls take over this? Like let's say there's some smart money out there, right? Wicked smart money waiting in the shadows. You tell me right now, where's the institutional money? I know exactly where it is. Give me a price. 121. Nice. Why? Weekly M2, right? Weekly M2, but stretch out to grab the psych level. And it could even be 120.80 up. So that tells me it's probably going to be a range week. And I would kind of put it here somewhere that a bull would do that. Now, we all wish it was 121.82, but I think if there's enough bears, and there could be with the amount of risk this week, that the first part of this week is risk off, right? And then we get through FOMC and it's all good. Whatever happens, let's say they don't raise interest rates. Let's say they do raise interest rates. Let's say they raise interest rates and they say no more interest rates for a while. Or let's say they raise interest rates and they say more interest rate hikes this year. Whatever. And the market says that's good. Good for macro, right? The world is saved. It's interpreted as good. No matter what happens, let's say it's interpreted as good news for macroeconomics. Yen weakens. It's all we don't care what actually happens. We only care how the world translates what happens, right? And that's why I've always told you guys when the news comes out, don't say is that good news? Is that bad news? Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what everyone else's positions are. I don't know what everyone else's bets are. What if they were betting it was going to be better than good and it came out good? Then it's bad. Good can be bad and bad can be good. I don't know. What matters is how the rest of the world translates the news, right? So, anyways, whatever. So let's just say it's risk off for a while, and then the world says, "Hey, we like what happened," and I don't know, like that. But I think it would take. I think there's back end risk this week, right? So FOMC is going to be the big one. The other stuff, okay, fine. No one cares about. Well, so there's going to be BOJ stuff that could weaken the yen, which is let's say good, and then let's say whatever happens at the Bank of England, that gets interpreted as good, then that pound yen is just gone. You see what I mean? We could get uh, a strong FOMC, which could be just positive for macroeconomic outlook. What does that mean to you? Risk on, baby. That's it. They're like, boom, risk on. It gives Wall Street and everybody else the green light to risk. Hey, the worst is over. Go for it. Get rich now. Because remember, Wall Street and everything, Wall Street, the idea of Wall Street, which is now global, what if it's just permission to take risk? Green light to get rich now. Then boom, bond market tanks, stock market takes off, commodities get invest money flow, and this whole thing just rockets, right? And you get like great macroeconomic outlook from the Fed. You get something from the Bank of Japan that weakens the yen, which they want. Bear in mind, they're begging for inflation. So they want weak yen. So what if they get what they want? What if they say what needs to be said to get what they want? It's in their best interest to weaken the yen. So the yen weakens. And then Bank of England comes out and whatever they say is awesome for the pound. My pound yen is going to be through the roof. And you wanted to take 50 pips profit? Oh my God. Huh? You see what I mean? That's why you got to put all this together. So this could start out negatively because it's euro. Who wants to buy the euro? Talk about a dog with fleas, right? By the way, I actually did that one time. My wife and I, when we were a young couple, went to a dog shelter to adopt a dog. We get to this big cage, all these big-eyed dogs. Take me, take me, take me. Right? I'm cute, take me. Right? And cowering in the back in the shadows was this little dog. And all the other ones are like, take me, take me, take me. I'm like, oh, what about that little shy one that's just cowering? So I talked to the woman in charge. I'm like, well, what about that one back there? She's like, oh, you don't want that one. I'm like, don't you tell me what I want and don't want. She's like, well, would you like to interview him? I'm like, what? Interview him. You want me to interview the dog? She's like, yes, we have interview rooms. If you wish, you can go to an interview room and I will bring him to you. Well, yes. Yes, I would. I would like an interview room. Damn straight. Get me an interview room. So we, we we're waiting in the interview room, waiting, and she's out getting the dog. She brings in this dog. It cowers like under a table, and she says, "I will give you private time." And so the woman leaves. The dog's cowering, like, "Please don't kill me! Please don't kill me! Please don't beat me! You're gonna beat me, aren't you?" Right? And I go to pet it, and it poops on the floor and pees all over the place. I'm like, "That's my dog. I'll take it." That's the euro, man. That's the euro. Now, a couple years later, the dog was great. Ended up being a great companion. But like that's what the euro is to me right now. It's got tons of potential. It's cute and fun and stuff, but it's going to get messy, I think. Don't you? Like I'm not a big buyer right now. But if the yen is weak and the euro yen goes up, imagine things that are worth buying. Imagine those yen pairs, right? Could really take off. What would you buy? USD yen maybe? Look at our monthly target, guys. This is the monthly trade plan I did with the swing trade guys. Missed it by 4 pips. Hey, not bad though. Can't complain. Red light, gray morning. Da-da-da, from a hole in the ground, vampire or victim, depends on your last trade. What do I want? I want weeklies is what I want. Ugh! Boom, shalakalaka. Boom. If you were a bull, well, okay, let's talk about the Japanese repatriation issue. If you were the head of a multinational Japanese corporation, Honda, Mitsubishi, right? Sony, and you're the CFO, Chief Financial Officer for Toyota, right? Do you wait to the last minute to move your billions? You're like, let's repatriate now in the last week or two. You're probably not, right? So I would have to imagine that by now most of it's been done, right? I mean, right? Wouldn't you think so? I mean, remember, it's not a trade. It's not an instant kind of move. It's just maybe it's happened. Maybe it happened. Maybe this was it. Okay. So remember over here, I said Japanese yen's going to get strong. Then there's going to be a false rally, and then it'll get strong into repatriation. So I don't know the exact dates of when these things occur, but this is the general idea, right? The general shape. Can anyone confirm that that was the exact language that we talked about even in September of last year, that the yens would weaken and somewhere between Thanksgiving and New Year's, then that weakening will reverse and start to see yen strength. It would fall till what, the third week of January, maybe, and then possibly there'd be a false rally, and then that would last a few weeks. I don't know. And then as we get into sort of the March time frame, you would start looking for again some strengthening, right? So, anyways, here's the January period, some strength, false rally. I mean, dude, it went up hundreds of pips, and then it strengthened. And look at the actual low was the last day of February. All right, so they repatriated early, and then it was done. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So I'd say to you, well, I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe the repatriation trade is done, right? I mean, it's different every year, sort of specifically, because there isn't a day every CFO in Japan decides to move their money. So this might have been it, right? But oh, and this, and then this, right? This I really think is let's say a tax related issue in places, let's say, that have tax issues, like the United States, right? By the way, I owe taxes. I owe more taxes. I got my tax bill. Yeah, so I got to go and pay my tax bill again. More money. They want more money. I'm like, oh my God, that comes out of my Bentley GT fund. Ugh. I think it's going to be another year driving a golf cart, not a Bentley GT convertible. But it's just as good. I keep telling myself, driving a golf cart to the grocery store is just as good as driving a Bentley GT convertible. And then I cry. I pay taxes in America. But you gotta love it. Actually, I take it all back. I love paying taxes because I raise children in part of the world where, and in a neighborhood and a town where there are good people and good schools. I had dinner with my neighbors last night and their kids. Barbecuing with the neighbors is always cool. I did all my swing trading though. I was an hour late. By the way, I was done swing trading and then ran over to the neighbors, and my neighbors already loading the plates full of cheeseburgers, which I bought the cheese and the burgers, which is cool, and he cooked them. Appreciate that. So it's cool, right? So like, look, you got to pay taxes for that. Good, great. I live in part of the world where my children do science Olympiad and robotics and stuff. Great. I'll pay my taxes. I'm happy to pay taxes. I would never try to pay less taxes. I pay what's legal. Love it. But a Bentley GT would be nice too. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Just saying. But trying to pay less taxes is a civil right. Well, it's funny though, honestly, and maybe we do need to talk about this from time to time, but the way that I've worked over the years is I don't try to cut corners. Like, for example, you can do things like, I mean, the idea is to write things off. So let's say, like, my home office, okay? I have complete right to charge myself rent and then write that off in my taxes, okay? I've never done that ever. In the 15 years or whatever that I've been a currency trader, I've had the right, but not the obligation, but I've had the legal right to get to write that off. I don't. I don't do stuff like that. I think the worst thing you could possibly do is try to write off your car. Lots of people do that. I think that's if you want to get audited, just try to write that stuff off. I mean, you're inviting trouble. So I try to do the very bare minimum. All right, these are my business related expenses like my internet access. And I have redundant, remember, I have two internet connections coming into my house, two cables. One is business and it's only my business. And then my backup one is what I use for the family. And of course, if my business one goes down, I could always use the Wi-Fi off the house. But it's not the other way around. So I do not share the business with the family. That's the right thing to do. If I buy computers and stuff, great. I'll write that off, right? That kind of thing. But I don't take it any further than that. It's very, very, very basic stuff. And the rest I just pay. And I'm happy to pay it. And I've always advised people too, don't try to find a way out paying taxes. Because you know what? I'll tell you what, because I've met people that spend a lot of time trying to avoid paying taxes. I'm like, dude, if you just spent half as much time just trying to make more money, it wouldn't matter. Why don't you just make more money? Yeah, Dad's like, look, if you're paying taxes, you're doing something right. Yeah, and then so that kind of stuff. So just structure it so just pay your taxes, make more money. Dan's, yeah, dealing with taxes and stuff. So you know, yeah. So I don't know. That's just look at it as a cost of doing business. Um, you know, that's all. Don't cut corners because I'll tell you the reason you don't want to cut corners is you'll get audited. Now I've been audited through like the NFA and stuff a couple of times, and it cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I'm just with that in mind, right? And I imagine the IRS is very similar. I with that in mind, why try to like write off $100 a month in charging yourself rent or something, or I mean, whatever it is. It's probably just not worth it. Or donations. Well, that's different. So I own a charitable um, trust, the Wayne McDonald Family Foundation, and that that is an entity that is used for that kind of stuff. But it's not a tax avoidance thing. It's more like a way to focus where your tax dollars go. Okay. So you could say you can have your school or have your money pay for building brand new high schools in Baghdad so that you can win the hearts and minds of the Iraqi people, or you can give money to the American Diabetes Association because I'm diabetic, right? I'm like, well, that sounds like a good cause. So it's just a way to focus where your money goes, I think. Plus, right? Plus, it's nice to own a charitable foundation. But I don't talk about that much, so but that is the truth. Cool. All right. So, anyways, look at this. Look. If you were a bull, I mean, my God, right? If you're a bull and you're not watching this, I would just shrug my shoulders and say, WTF, right? Look at this. At the 1450, right? Down here, man. This whole thing, 1450, bounce, higher high, higher low, right? Oh, yeah, but Wayne, it's happening right at the New York Open. Yeah, but Wayne, it's the weekly central acting as support off the midpoint psych level, triple bottom, higher high, higher low, 1, 2, 3 reversal. I want to wait. I want to wait. I don't get it. It's only a 5A cross on an hourly chart. I don't know. Okay. I don't know. What if? All right, so I think we spent too much time on the yens. I mean, look at this, huh? Down and up and back down. I think we had this one on a different. Let me. I think we should do dollar pairs. But, I thought I had this somewhere else. I drew it up somewhere. I don't see it. Mm, sniffling. If I could stay in the night. Yeah. Oh, I want to get off these. I guess we gotta go here. So how about our friend oil? Huh? Don't you just love it? What do you think? Was 50 important? So the question is, are you going to buy it? Everyone in the news is talking down. You know the funny thing about this big move, this it's almost a flash move, right? Remember we sold it here and it just dropped $5 in like 2 days. What does that tell you? That everyone is extremely bearish? What does it tell you? What can we gather? What can we? What kind of assumption can be made from witnessing the velocity in the down? Is the market heavily bearish or is the market heavily bullish? Anyone else want to answer? Don't get it wrong. You might look foolish. People will laugh at you, just like they did in fourth grade. I'm not asking whether you'd buy or not. What did what could you learn from this price action? Was the market or is the market heavily bullish or heavily bearish? It has nothing to do with whether you'd buy or sell. We're trying to read the market. Let me give you a hint. It's not on Forex.today because there's only currency stuff there. But have you looked at the commitment of traders report? Have you looked at the commitment of traders report for oil? Hmm. Is the market net bullish or net bearish? Is it clicking? What do you know about oil? No, the market was net bullish. Now, honestly, I don't have it in front of me, so I'm just going from memory. See, the market was bullish, and they find out that the OPEC cuts haven't worked. What a shock. Did anybody in the world talk about this? But that there was no way that this could possibly work? Who would have said that? What kind of person would say that? OPEC cut. Do you remember even reading the news? Like, wow, the OPEC cuts actually were carried out. Uh huh. Uh huh. All right, good. Didn't work. hmm. Somebody said it wouldn't work. I think it might have been me. But anyways, so the market find out that it ain't working, and it crashes not because they sold it, because they got out of the longs. They've been waiting. Look how long they've been waiting. Since December, and they just gave up. Do you think they'll bet again, though? You're telling me they wouldn't pick it up at 45 bucks a barrel? 40, 38? Like, they're just going to buy it again somewhere. No, well, they didn't take profit. They just got out. I mean, I don't know where they got in, but I can tell you where they got it out, right? Got out. So look at this. Let me zoom in a little bit here. Do you see this lower yellow line? I'm going to try. I'm trying to get it. Grab this. It will let me. No. Ah, stupid. Come on. Maybe here? Okay, I got it on this side. I think I see it here. No. There we go. Okay, move it across. Oh, great. Change. Open that a little more. Hopefully it'll let me grab. Yeah. Huh? X. You see it? I think I can go back even farther or further. Yeah, sure. I, I, total coincidence, right? Where were the stops? Okay. So it happened early here. Just more and more people got out. So they must have moved their stops here, and then blah, blah. It just cascaded faster and faster and faster. So what? Remember, I told you don't get caught up in these things. It's fallen. So up here, everyone said oil was going to go to $60 and $70 a barrel. I'm like, that's dumb. So it's fallen. Now what? Oil's going to go to $35 a barrel. Really? It's funny though, isn't it? Oh my God, oil's going to go to zero. Like, don't don't you understand? Like, you can't get all the OPEC countries in the world and Russia to actually cooperate, actually cut inventories. And it has nothing to do with the cultures and the people. I'm not saying Saudis are liars. I'm not saying the Russians are liars. I'm just saying when you study game theory and whatever, let's say 13, I don't know what the number of OPEC countries are, but let's say it was 13 individual countries, right? I mean, the more players you have, right, the more actors involved, the less likely you're going to get the outcome that you're trying to negotiate. This is why unilateral agreements are much easier to negotiate than multilateral, right? That's why TPP or is so difficult to negotiate. It's just easier to work with individual countries, right? But in a what I explained to you though, this type of setup also incentivizes some of the players to cheat, if not all the players to cheat. And so maybe even the numbers coming out like, oh, the OPEC cuts were right, but meanwhile there's oil being moved around behind the scenes. You know, there's ways I'm sure. But also we know that if Saudi Arabia cuts, what happens? I remember talking several times about how Saudi Arabia used to be the most important oil producing country in the world because it was a swing producer, which means if there was a shock to supply somewhere in the world, like maybe a hurricane goes through the Gulf of Mexico and shuts down because it damages thousands of oil rigs, right? Or there's terrorist attacks in Iraq and suddenly Iraq is producing no oil whatsoever, right? And all that supply goes offline. It was never, Saudi Arabia could always go in and say, all right, so we're losing 2 million barrels a day. So they're like, we'll just produce 2 million barrels more per day. It wasn't even a problem, right? We got you back, bro. And they could stabilize supplies, right? They could just say, not a problem. We're short, the world is short 2 million barrels, 3 million barrels. Didn't matter. Saudi Arabia could just do it. And they're like, don't worry about it, right? Saudi Arabia is producing at 100%. They are not a swing producer. Who's the swing producer? United States of America. Well, that's new. This is all new stuff, guys. This no America. Russia probably could produce more. They're just incapable. Remember when they finally let the Western world into some of their oil producing regions? They let the Dutch in, right? They let the Americans in. They're like, yeah, okay, we'll work with you. We'll give you some of our oil producing areas. We'll do some joint ventures with you guys. And so the Western world goes into Russia to look at their oil production to help out. The Russians were basically out there with like corkscrews and buckets producing oil, right? And the Americans are like, oh my God, this is like museum quality equipment. Like, my grandpa produced oil with this stuff, right? They're like, oh my gosh. Yeah, maybe Mexico, very similar, right? So anyways, like, so I don't know anything about Russian oil, but let's just say they're doing the best they can. They're probably not swing producers. They have, let's say they have inventory. They have the supply in the ground, but not really probably the capacity to produce more instantly, right? So anyways, I'm just saying America's now the swing producer. So oil went up. It didn't even hit 60. What's happened in the last year? Well, let's say frackers can frack, and they can always frack. Okay, we don't know when they're going to frack, but you can produce oil in less than 30 days fracking. Okay, but what is the capacity for the United States to produce more? And in the last year, I would have to guess at least a doubling of oil rigs in the Gulf of Mexico. I mean, we can look that up if you want. We can look that up. I'm guessing. I'd have to say at least 100% increase in the number of oil rigs in the Gulf of Mexico. But let's look that up here. Baker Hughes rig. Is it Hughes ES? Rig count. Yeah, I guess it's with ES. Baker Hughes rig count. Baker Hughes rig data. Yay! Let's look. Let's be factual. All right, last count. 768. Look at this. 12 new oil rigs in a week. 288 new rigs year over year. So I'm sorry. Okay. 50% more capacity to produce oil. Canada, oh, 2/3, 66% increase. And look, OPEC. OPEC took 77. I don't know. It's not really OPEC, but let's just pretend. Look. All right. So the globe internationally, there's 77 less rigs, except America and the United States produce almost 600. Well, 500. 500 rigs. 500 versus the 70. So there's 400 more rigs, and it's North America doing it. Canada, the United States, 500 more rigs. We're now at 1,000, let's say over 1,000 total. I mean, that's significant, bro. Oh, Hojo uses Fox Business. Oh, I'm sorry. No, come on, dude. This is not Fox Business. Yeah, no. This is factual. You don't need interpretation. Don't read people's opinions. It's dumb. People are wrong. The only person right is you because you've done your analysis and your work. Don't Fox Business. That's fair and balanced, though, right? So, anyways, here's the facts. Look what is this though? Canada took down 20 rigs last week. Oh, but up 200. But that's 10% decline in a week. Must be maintenance or something, huh? Anyways, that I think that's significant. So, oil production significantly going up in the United States, and oil production going down in Saudi Arabia and OPEC countries. What does it tell you? OPEC wants to raise prices? Great. That's just oil rigs, guys. That's just oil rigs in the Gulf of Mexico. Okay. So, anyways, the question is, do you sell it when it's falling? Well, do you remember how I sold it at 54 and 55? Why? Well, we were at resistance, right? Do you sell it at 49? No. Do you sell it at 50? Well, it did that before. How come you didn't do it then? Right? So like if you're using price action, maybe you catch it at 49.50-ish, a role reversal type scenario. But even then, you're on support, man. It's like it's so late. It makes me sick to think that someone might do it. Ugh, really? I mean, seriously, even thinking about it makes me nauseous. Like, oh my God, now you want to sell it. You didn't want to sell at 55. You didn't want to sell at 54. You didn't want to sell at 53. Or 52, or 51, or 50, or 49, or the retracement back to 50, or 49, or 48. Right now, you're down here. You're like, now you want to get in the game. I mean, honestly, thinking about it, it actually makes me nauseous. I'm nauseous thinking of it. Oh, golly, really? So M2 is possible support, right? Resistance, resistance, resistance. I'm not recommending being a buyer, but I certainly can't be a seller, right? You see what I mean? I can't be a seller here. Golly. Ah. But maybe a buyer. And what I was getting to, okay, what I was getting to was the market was bullish before. So at what point do you get long again? What point do they get long again? Okay. Now I think this is going to start going up in June and July and August. Shh. Don't tell anybody. Shh. Okay. And why do I think that? I'll give you a hint. I already told you last week. Thank you. Well, it's not just summer demand, let's say. It's the historic decline in inventories looking back over 50 years. Because remember, I look back 50 years, but that was 10 years ago. So it's like, right, over a course of 60 years, June 1st, based on research, has a propensity of being the peak in inventories for the season. From then, inventories are slowly drawn down, and the rate has to do with the economy. And the rate of drawdown also has to do with how cold the winter will be next year. So, based on your alpha, based on your hardcore research and all your PhDs and MBAs and quants working for you and your team, you've decided to slowly build long positions for crude oil, assuming that this starts heading back up to 16 above by the end of 2017. Well, that almost sounds smart, huh? Dude, I am not joking. Just shorting this here, I feel nauseous. Honestly, I feel nauseous now. I'm like, oh my God, I think I need to eat breakfast or something. It's funny. I just think about it. Like, it just makes me so upset thinking that someone didn't sell it at 55, someone didn't sell it at 54, or 53, or 52, or 50, or 51, or 50, or 49. They're going to wait to hear, and then they're going to sell it. Oh my God. Oh, I'm not joking. I'm nauseous. So, um, I guess that's it for our day. I need some fresh air. Oh, can you imagine? Ugh. Yeah. Hey, by the way, if you did the webinar start at a weird time for you? Did you just log in? You're like, why is it over now, or why isn't it just starting, or whatever? Now, what happened was time changed in the United States of America. Okay, you need to know this stuff. You're a foreign exchange trader now. You need to know these things. Okay? Yeah, and then things will change again. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. Ooh, I need I need fresh air or something. Peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May your profit. May your nauseous be. Let me do it again. Peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May your profits be above average. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll be here. Will I be uploading this video? Yeah, yeah. I got to upload another video, so might as well upload this video. Sure. Are you going to leave a like? Are you going to leave a comment? Why should I upload the video if nobody ever leaves likes? Nobody leaves likes. Nobody leaves comments. Why should I? Because I love you and I want you to succeed. So I'll do it anyways. But it'd be really cool if you left a like. Cool. So again, peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May your profits be above average. Late.